Welcome to DTLT today. What's up?
Look who's back!
I am back.
It's not just me.
You know what? I decided I like Mary Washington, damn it.
Yeah.
You know, I figured I'd come back to you all. I miss you.
I miss you, Tim.
I'm a little mixed on Jim, but I missed you.
Everybody's mixed on Jim.
Yeah, I'm mixed, you're in.
So
welcome to DTLT today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about WordPress.
Yeah.
Today.
A popular subject for our group.
A popular subject for our group and others out there, I'm sure.
It seemed like today's been one of those days where I've been coming across several different very useful plugins and themes and things. And, I mean, it's ever expanding. I find more stuff every day. But these things in particular, I feel like if you're looking to get more flexible with WordPress, if you're just using it as a blog, then you know what's built into WordPress is great and you can add on widgets and things like that. But if you really want it to be something more, if you're trying to develop websites, for example, right, or trying to make websites that can do specific functions and things, then I think what we're going to show you today has a lot of use. So
we'll start out simple.
Mm-hmm.
And talk, and neither Tim nor I could remember whether we specifically talked about, besides the big explosive introduction of the new UMW website, umw.edu,
right,
where we went into the new gymnasium, the new Anderson Center, and saw the president talk about our new site and our new brand and that sort of thing. And I just can't remember. We'll have to go back and review the tapes to see whether we actually talked about this. But I've been working on the DTLT site to try to get some more information to make it a little bit more navigable, just getting the good information up to the top kind of thing. And we're
now some background
still
on
working
that.
on that.
Now some background on that is that the umw.edu site, and we've been meaning to get Kathy Derricky on the show, and we need her too because she's got all the information about it and just been crucial in getting us to a point where we're running WordPress on umw.edu, which is incredible. But it's running the Genesis framework. So if you Google that, I'm not sure the exact address, but it's running the Genesis framework with a custom theme applied to it that we have. So go ahead and show them what it looks like. You've done a lot of work with this.
This is what the main page looks like, and so we have kind of a little slideshow with sites that are featured. The main core of kind of these are kind of our main ideas, our main areas of expertise in what we do. I've been working on these about pages so that people know what we're about. That seems to be a problem in some cases here at Mary Washington, what exactly DTLT does. But I've got this about page that talks about our staff and our services. We're waiting for things to go. So we had to feature a picture of Jim in his little camouflage hat.
Which was featured on the homepage of umw.edu.
Yeah, and I think I actually stole this image from the whole homepage. But basically the staff and services page, and the actual services page is the one that I was kind of getting a little bit of a retro feel on, because I actually used the table feature again
nice.
in WordPress.
Yeah. And
so I'm getting back into the tables and talking about some of the stuff that we do in this visual kind of nature. So, UMW blogs, the new Media Center site, Canvas, which is our LMS, and then other things that need to be linked to and talked about. But other things that we do: instructional design, classroom technologies, emerging technologies, and so forth.
And I love the look of this because it's very visual. It
Exactly.
reminds me, we were talking about Pinterest.com earlier today, and just this idea that when you're showing off the services that you do or the things that you're about, it doesn't all have to be a huge paragraph of text or a list of items. You can throw out those images as well to give a quick overview. So I really like how it looks so far, and I'm looking forward to us playing around some more with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't say that I didn't take or steal other ideas from other places, but I wanted to do exactly what you said and make this a very visual representation of what we do, so that people had kind of bold icons to specify what these things are, and to have that kind of idea in people's minds, rather than what this was before is just a bulleted list kind of the things that we do, and didn't really have much of a description to them. So, and again, WordPress is the engine that's behind all this.
Yeah.
And so we've got that flexibility and the table editor. Now, is tables built into something, or is that a plugin? Is there a tables plugin that allows you those extra buttons that give you the table options?
That's built into WordPress.
That's built into WordPress.
Yeah, you've got your standard visual editor menu, and then you can expand it for more extra options.
But tables, were those added at a later time? Have those always been there?
I'm not sure.
Maybe another WordPress expert can help us out. Have tables always been in the WordPress editor, the table editors? That's
That is new.
That's
Is it
relatively
new?
recent.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
It may not even be stock.
I was thinking it was
stock.
stock.
That Kathy added.
Interesting.
I don't think
Okay.
it's stock. Right?
Oh, interesting.
All right. So that might even be a custom feature that
Good to know.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
people out there may not take advantage of unless you have someone as good as Kathy Derricky.
Yeah.
So, so speaking kind of the visual, one of the things that we started playing with today, thanks to Tim for kind of taking this on and pointing me to it, is this thing called, what is this thing called?
Headway.
Headway.
Headway themes.
Because they have this logo there, and it then doesn't say anything. It's like, I forgot what this is called, but
So,
Headway themes.
And a quick precursor to this. This is a paid theme. It's not a plugin. It's a theme framework. So similar to we're using Genesis on umw.edu, which is a paid framework. And then you have these child themes that can work off of it. So they're in the process of building a ton of themes that work off of this framework. But what interested me more so than the than all the themes that they were going to create for it was that this framework wasn't just like, here's some theme options where you can do this and that. They've really built a system on top of WordPress that allows you to drag and drop content. And I'm not talking like Dreamweaver style WYSIWYG editor where you're trying to throw stuff on the screen and it's making ugly code in the background. It really plays nicely with WordPress. And so I downloaded it and I paid and downloaded it because for me, I do a lot of, or I have in the past, and probably here shortly in the future, we'll start doing a lot more freelance web design work. And yeah, I can hand code, but why do you need to if you're working with WordPress anyway, where everything's always very visual? Why can't you use that to sort of build out the layout of it? And then I can focus more on the visual aspects of it, the design of the site, as opposed to worrying about what code do I need so that I can get a 3-column view. Just give me a 3-column view so I can start working now.
So if you want to show the interface,
I'll
I'll
switch over to your computer and you can show them what this looks
bring
like.
this back up. So this is kind of the view that you get when you start. Obviously, you need to kind of you add this theme to your site, to your WordPress site, and you said that this is only kind of this is a non-multi-user, or there's a newer version for multi-user support. Is that correct? But this is actually installed on just a Bluehost single instance blog. And so once you've got that, this is kind of your theme editor view, and it's called the visual editor. And what I can also do is kind of minimize some things so that you get the full view of what the editor looks like. But you have these regions that you can move around and resize. So if you want to make the header area a little bit larger, you can do that, and then you can move these other things down. I'll scroll down this way just to kind of maybe move the footer. And you've got this visual way of moving these blocks of WordPress content and items like the widgets area and menus and that sort of thing. So,
and adding new content is as easy as dragging a square over top of your site, and it creates a new block of content and asks you, what is this content? Is it going to be a widget? Is it going to be an area of text or image content? Is it going to be an actual image file that you've already uploaded somewhere? So you can add just about anything to your site. So
you can start from scratch. I obviously had a website here to start with that had those content areas, the widget areas, and that sort of thing. But as Tim said, you can add any one of these items here, and you can even do media, where you can do either like an image rotator slideshow for a header or other areas, or you can add a URL to a specific video or something like that, and treat that as a place on the website to add content. So it's very, very kind of highly customizable, and you can get rid of any of these blocks at any time just by clicking on the X's and getting rid of those. And then you can go in and you can change some of the design aspects. Sure, we'll leave this page because I don't want to save those changes. But you get into the areas where, and it is quite detailed.
I haven't jumped into it a whole lot yet. Like I said, I just downloaded it today and started playing around. But it seems like it has aspects of it that are great for the beginner that just wants a visual editor to say, this is what I want my blog or my website or my whatever to look like. And then it has a lot more developer-friendly aspects. Here's some API hooks that you can tie into to do some really fancy custom stuff. And so I've got a whole lot more to dig around with it. You can even style page templates, which is usually something that's very difficult to do when you're theming a WordPress site. So you have to say, I want a page that just looks like this for this specific page, not for anyone else. Or, I have a show page for DTLT today that I want to just look like this, and no other blog site needs to look like that. And it's very easy to create a new template, assign it a style, drag stuff around and create that, and just for that page it'll look like that. So it's very flexible in that regard too, not just for the home page or for the blog.
Yep. And so this is that area where you can see either pages or templates, and this happens to be the design area where you can go in and change a particular. So right now I'm in the header area, so you can change the font families to some other kind of font family. So we choose something like Impact to show you what the difference might be. And so that instantly changes the text style for that, and then you can save these at any time. And you can preview what things look like to view the full site. So we just go to another page here and see what that looks like. I didn't save that change, so you don't see the change in the blog title. But
and it's also got a live CSS editor. So if you do know some CSS and you're used to going into the custom CSS section or editing it yourself, you can edit it in here, and your page updates as you're making these changes, similar to what you were doing with the clicking for the pre-built-in options. If I wanted to actually start digging into some code, I could apply it there, and it would update live in that editor. So, it reminds me a little bit of Firebug in that aspect, or Chrome's WebKit has a developer view that you can do that with as well. So,
and we've used another piece of software called ArtistEar, which allows you to create WordPress sites based on lots of different templates and themes and looks, kind of like a PowerPoint or a Word editor for creating WordPress sites. So you go in, you pick a header, you pick a footer, you pick the other kind of content areas, and theme those with rounded corners, square corners, that sort of thing, and then export your site as a theme, and then you can load that theme into WordPress and use that. And I think Martha's got a license to that, and she has used it in the past. Don't know how much she's used it recently, but that's another one of these kind of visual editors to create WordPress themes. Yeah. So
I'm always a little bit skeptical, and Julia mentioned in the chat, does this make ugly code? I honestly don't know yet. That's always the balance that you have, and it's the reason that I've never really liked Dreamweaver too much was, you could go in the code view and you could do pretty semantic code, but if you were working in the visual editor, what it spit out was usually pretty awful. Not as bad as Front Page, mind you, which got discontinued, but Dreamweaver was never that great as well. Because it's hard to translate that. My hope is that because this is a theme that's built on top of WordPress, and it's working with several restrictions in terms of the grid layout that it has, I'm hoping that what it spits out is pretty good. So we'll see. And she reminded, I should say process. I love saying process.
Oh, yeah. Process. It's that Canadian thing.
I need it. That's one aspect of Canada that I love, is that word.
Like, I love when I'm watching hockey games that are broadcast from Canada. They say things like offense.
Offense?
Offense and defense. So
progress.
Progress. Yeah.
All the pros, heavy on the O.
We love you, Canadians. I'm gonna pass my beloved MacBook Air over to Tim.
It almost floats over here, actually. I almost didn't even have to grab that. It might have floated away.
It does, kind of. Now we're just realize that's my beloved. So take care of it.
I want to leave you with one other free plugin. So we'll balance this out between something that you might have to pay for that theme. But this is a plugin that I just found. There's a paid version of it that does one different thing, but what I'm focusing on is the free part, and it's called WP Types. It's at wp-types.com. This was something that I found that I believe Tom Woodward linked to in one of his blogs. Maybe not Bionic Teaching, but he may have posted it on Delicious or something. And what this does is it gets a little geeky, but I'll explain in a minute. Types lets you create custom post types, custom taxonomies, and custom field views with meta boxes. So if that's not...
Good night, everybody.
Yeah,
We'll see
exactly.
you.
Good stuff. Download it. Have a nice day. No, I'll explain it in a more visual way once I switch to this computer. But basically the idea behind this is that with WordPress, you get posts and you get pages out of the box.
Okay.
But some people, when they're creating sites, for example, like a real estate site, they want to create things that aren't really blog posts, and they're not really static pages either. It's a listing of homes. So those homes, while you could put them in as posts, it's hard to really finagle it to be that. Whereas what if on the sidebar you had add a new home? And when you added the home, it had options for what's the asking price, what is the, what's what's an image for the front, what's an image for the backyard, what's, the real estate listing for it.
So was this kind of the thing that you were playing around with the alumni list?
A little bit similar,
Okay.
but this is a new plugin that sort of wraps it all into one package,
Great.
and it's really nice. So I'm going to flip over here on the computer so you can see what I'm talking about. This is wp-types.com. You can see they have a plugin called Types and one called Views. The Types one is free. That's available in the plugin repository, and that's what allows you to create this custom content. And the Views one is what you can buy from them if you want to be able to display that content really easily. So that one is sort of another, not a drag and drop interface or something for being able to pull out that custom content and throw it into a theme pretty easily. However, the Types plugin does give you some easy shortcodes to use as well to throw it into your theme. Here it is in the plugin directory, and it's called Types, Custom Fields, and Custom Post Types Management. They've got a two-minute intro where the guy does a little screencast for you. He doesn't really talk through it. He just shows you what's happening. But I've went ahead and downloaded it and added it to UMW Blogs to play around with it. And so I've gone into one of your websites and activated it because you were already logged in on your computer.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll have a lot of fun with it. But in the bottom left here, you can see the Types section. And this is actually my first time playing around with this plugin. So if I screw up, I screw up. But
It's live TV, baby.
Exactly. So let's say that we were making a real estate site, like I mentioned, and we wanted to create a type called homes. So they say type the plural name, and I'm going to say homes. The singular is home. The slug, which is what comes on your website. So you might have, andyrush.com / and then whatever the slash is. So you would have /home / and then the name of the post title.
Isn't the singular homie?
Homie.
It's homes and homie, right?
My homie. We're going to make it public. I'm just going to choose the defaults for this. Although right here you can see on the sections you can choose what things this post type has access to. Does it have access to thumbnails? Does it have access to comments? Do you want comments on this or not, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, for now, let's just add all of these things, which is sort of going to treat it a little bit like a post format, but that's not a problem. I'm going to save that custom post type. And then now you can see on the left-hand sidebar there, now we have homes. It's not just posts and pages anymore. We've got homes, and I can create a new home. Now, out of the box, if I go to add a new one, this looks just like a post.
Okay.
We haven't added anything different to it. So I'm going to go back down to Types, and I'm going to create a new taxonomy. Taxonomy is basically like tags, right? So you put tags on a post. A custom taxonomy might be, what kind of home type do you have? Is it residential?
Okay.
Is it business and commercial? Is it a rancher-style house and that kind of thing, the style of the house? And the nice thing about using that as a taxonomy is that you can drill down and say, show me all of the houses that are of that particular style. So
and
it's,
when you create a new one, you'll have a selector. Where
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So let's add one in here, and let's call it style, or home style.
Or home slice.
For the slug, I'll just do style there. Taxonomy's public. Register post types. And so here I get to say only use this kind of taxonomy when I'm creating a new home, because I don't need it for my blog posts or all those other things. I just need it for that.
Okay.
We go ahead and save that, and then let's go back and add a new home now. Now here, what you notice on the sidebar here, you've got all of your home styles, and we haven't created any yet. So let's say I'm creating a rancher style house. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to call it a rancher. And now that's added in there. You know, as I create others, I'll have checkboxes here, and then I can just easily check it off. And that gives me a way to delineate, you know, certain types of homes and basically drill down with that. The one other part of this that I love, and it's usually in the form of separate plugins that do this, and this has it built in, is custom fields. Custom fields are like similar to, so you've got a post title, you've got your post editor, but what if you wanted to really easily be able to give an end user something where you could say, upload a picture and we'll show it on the page. Upload, give the listing price. You know, you could have these all as a separate form field. It feels more like a form at that point than something where they have to go and put things in different places. So custom fields, let's go in here and create a new group. And I'm going to create a group called Home Information. It's got all of these different types of things that we can use it with.
Why is it you're thinking so much about homes and real estate?
Oh, you know,
these days?
You never know. I'm always in the market, Andy. Always in the market.
Always thinking. All right.
All right, so let's edit home information. I don't know. Do I drag here? Ah, I do. Yeah, so hold on, I'm letting him right here. So let's say, for example, the first thing that I want to do is add an image here. And I'm going to say front of house.
Okay.
Please upload a view of your front of the house or something. So you give it a little description. You can even require it and say you've got to at least put an image in here or it won't let you post that.
Okay.
Save and it's done. Now, other things that you could do in here, you could say, for example, if you were going to have multiple realtors, you could say realtor email address for the realtor. And it will even validate it as a regular email address. So if they type in something that's not an email address, that's not going to work. All right, now let's go. Right now it's displaying for all content types. Again, I'm going to say only show this one on homes. That's the only time it makes any sense.
Okay.
Save that setting. Now let's go back in and add a new one and see what our information looks like. I could even get rid of this main content editor so I could clean that up, but now you see I've got a nice section where I can upload an image for the front of the house, I can type in an email address, and it gives me these shortcodes that I can then add that information back into there. So it's, you know, it's really nice, especially if you're trying to build a site that's going to be used by someone who's not really familiar with blogging platforms, to be able to give them this kind of information. If I go back to my, and to show you what that looks like, if I go back and I edit that post type for homes, remember when I'd said we're going to use the title, the editor? Well, let's say, what if I'm not using the editor, the comment system, the authors, the excerpt, the thumbnail?
Okay.
Let's remove all those things, and let's see how clean this looks now. So now I go to add a new home, and all my information is right there. And, you know, I can select off my taxonomies on the right-hand side. I can add all that extra information there. It feels more like a fillable form at this point for someone, and it really is at that point a content management system and not just this pre-built blogging platform.
Sure. I mean, I think it'll be funny in a few years where we go back and we say, you remember when WordPress just had pages and posts?
Sure.
Wasn't that silly that they only limited you to those two things?
Yeah, I mean, these things that this plugin is taking advantage of, those are things that are built into the core of WordPress. Custom post types are something that they built into the code, but they didn't exactly create a GUI interface to use. So I'm glad to see plugins like this come along. I'm hoping that WordPress is paying attention and probably rolls things like this into the code itself. You know, it feels a little geeky right now, but I think it's something that people can really benefit from, to be able to build a lot more intuitive websites to do particular things. I know, for example, one of the things I wanted to use it for is dtlttoday.com, because we're talking about multiple shows and show types. And I think having each show as a custom post type is going to make things easier to break down. You know, show me all of the DTLT Today episodes, show me all of the programs, episodes, and that kind of thing, and it'll help break all of that apart and the different types of content that they might show.
So do you think you'll use this plugin to do that for DTLT Today?
It's quite possible.
Okay.
I don't know. I've got some other plugins.
Because you started that stuff already, right?
I did. So there's like 3 plugins doing it right now, and this one would just be one that would take care of everything. So I'm really tempted to try and go back and do it all in this, but maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Okay. But it's a very intuitive plugin. It's completely free of charge. So it's worth trying out if you're trying to do some more advanced and fancy stuff in WordPress, for sure.
Nice.
So hopefully not too geeky of an episode today, but hopefully helpful for a lot of people. I know a lot of people that follow us are people that are interested in WordPress, interested in expanding its capabilities.
People in our chat right now, they're pretty geeky.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
I have no offense.
Yeah. Hey, geeks,
we love you.
Geeks unite.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, thank you everybody for watching.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see y'all later.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.